During the 1950s, Harlem was experiencing a host of hardships. The private and public sector stopped servicing the community. Landlords deserted their buildings, and thousands of residents were forced out of their neighborhoods. At the request of religious leaders, elected officials, and members of the community, Governor Nelson Rockefeller entered into a memorandum of understanding with Harlem, creating the Harlem Urban Development Corporation as an uptown development agency. HUDC was created to jumpstart construction in an effort to rejuvenate the Harlem economy. It worked. The crime rate dropped, residents returned, the Apollo Theater reopened, shopping returned to 125th Street, and land values increased to previous levels. This development, as well as social and economic progress, was abruptly halted in 1995 when George Pataki was elected governor. Pataki shut down HUDC, and he awarded a major development site on 125th Street to a prominent member of the Real Estate Board of New York. This was one of the few times members of the New York Real Estate Board sought development opportunities north of 110th Street. Then Michael Bloomberg was elected mayor of New York City. Bloomberg supported and implemented policies that favored the wealthy with zero regard for the essential workers that enable New York City to function properly. Mayor Bloomberg appointed Amanda Burden as the chairperson of the New York City Planning Commission. These rezonings reshuffled the entire city's population and increased luxury development, creating ultra-wealthy neighborhoods like Billionaires Row. Bloomberg's rezonings sparked the golden age for predatory development. Wealthy, and especially foreign investors, invaded Midtown Manhattan. Members of the Real Estate Board sold thousands of ultra-expensive condos. They sold like hotcakes. Empty apartments converted Midtown into a ghost town. Buildings like the Executive Plaza, City Spire, Three World Plaza are filled with absentee owners, primarily using the property for tax purposes. These anonymous property acquisitions became so frequent until the U.S. Treasury Department required cash purchases of $3 million or more to be reported to the department. This increased spending forced many families earning $100,000 a year out of Midtown Manhattan into Uptown, displacing blue-collar, hard-working, tax-paying residents earning between minimum wage and $90,000 a year. Developers like the Olnick Organization tried to take advantage of the influx of higher-income families by proposing an infill project that would add 5 28-story buildings with 1,600 units, 400 of which would be below market rate. The community rejected the extension. Within a month, there were 2 fires on the ground floor retail location in Lenox Terrace. Bruce Teitelbaum, the proposed developer of the 145 project at 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, proposed the development of a 31-story tower with 915 residential apartments, including 112 apartments for very low-income families. The community rejected the project. The developer attempted to punish the neighborhood by building a parking lot for tractor trailers. 70% of the entire New York City population can't afford their own rent. It is far too common that New Yorkers pay more than 50% of their earnings towards rent. What happens when the heart and soul of New York is priced out? Public housing is the only affordable housing program for the workforce. Due to decades of government neglect, there is a genuine fear for the future of New York City Housing Authority residents. For example, the Manhattanville houses. The parcel at 1414 Amsterdam Avenue is owned by Columbia University. Recently, this parcel was sold to the Grid Group to develop a 26-story tower with 393 residential units. The income levels were not disclosed, but the Grid Group is a luxury housing developer, and Columbia University needs student housing. Soaring housing costs are destroying the economic and social fabric of the city. The rising costs are not based on the increased wages or the economics of New York City. It is based on the greed largely on behalf of the members of the New York Real Estate Board. These costs have also increased due to land grabs from nonprofit institutions like Columbia University. The people must start a movement to encourage President Biden's administration to support a comprehensive maintenance program for the New York City Housing Authority and encourage Governor Hochul to support the following ask. We are asking the Empire State Development Corporation to modify Columbia's general project plan to include provisions protecting Harlem, Washington Heights, and uptown communities. Harlem on the Hudson, the Dyckman waterfront, as well as the development of Lincoln Penitentiary. It is also an essential ask to reinstate HUDC as an uptown development agency and protection for the future of Harlem.